Hi, we'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, Savvy Social Security Planning, what baby boomers need to know about their retirement income. Just a little bit of housekeeping today. There's going to be a questions field on your GoToWebinar panel that you'll see. Feel free to ask questions in there. We're going to try to make this as interactive as possible, and there will also be a Q&A session at the end. So if you have a question, if we don't get to answer your question, we'll make sure that someone gets back to you at the end. We're anticipating that there's going to be a lot for this, but we'll get to them as many of them as we can. Today we have speaking with us, we have Richard Pasek. Richard is the Senior Vice President of CNA Financial Group. He's licensed in both insurance and investments, and he's worked with hundreds of families and small business owners, helping them to achieve their personal and professional financial success. And we also have with us today Henry Rinder. Henry is a licensed certified public accountant in New Jersey and New York with more than 30 years of public accounting experience. With that, I will pass it over to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you for the introduction and welcome everyone. I have a real pleasure to bring to you today Richard Pasek. I've heard Richard speak on this topic before. He's very impressive, very knowledgeable, and frankly, since I saw him in action giving a seminar on this topic, he has become my go-to person when it comes to questions relating to Social Security benefits and planning for Social Security benefits and understanding the rules. And if any of you have looked at the rules and tried to figure them out, I'm a professional, I'm a CPA. I look at Internal Revenue Code and regulations and case law. Let me tell you something. Social Security is complicated, it's complex, it's not easy to decipher what one needs to do. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Richard. Richard's going to make a presentation that's going to last approximately 30 minutes, and then we'll go to Q&A. We're going to take questions from you, and hopefully Richard is going to be able to answer all your questions, but in case we'll run out of time, we promise to have Richard respond to you later on. Richard, the show is yours.
Well, thank you, Henry. Yeah, welcome everybody. It's good afternoon today. The first thing I just want to briefly introduce myself. I work at CNA Financial Group, and when I started back in 1983, I worked pretty much with baby boomers because I am one myself. And baby boomers didn't have much back then, and thinking about retirement was just so far away that no one really concentrated on it, and certainly no one really understood how Social Security works. As I got older, my clients got older. And over the years, especially in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, many of my baby boomer clients became very aware of retirement planning and the need and the income planning and things like that, and they became stressed on it. So I became a retirement income certified professional, learning this system along with others. And I pretty much got quite a bit of knowledge with the Social Security system, claiming strategies. The problem is most people just don't get the facts to make a decision. They go to the water cooler, or they ask their brother-in-law or a plumber or whatever, and sometimes they get misinformation. So we're going to go through some facts and fiction on Social Security, and I hope you find it very interesting. Next slide, please. Next slide. There you go. There you go. Things to know about Social Security. First thing is you may have many different claiming options. Some say there are well over 500 different combinations. Decisions have far-reaching consequences. This is going to affect you now and throughout your whole retirement, right to the end of your life and your spouse's life. The choices impact both you and your spouse. The main thing, we're going to go through some of the numbers, but the system is not bankrupt. It is not. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It works, and it should work for most of the people on this call. Unless there's some 30-year-olds, I think things will change in the future. But for us baby boomers, people 55 or 50 plus, it should work as planned. The benefits likely help some people you know, family members, and you probably heard stories about it. And just understand, as I said before, your friends aren't experts. Next slide. So understanding the value of Social Security. Next. So the first question is, will Social Security be there for me? Next. So at the end of 2018, the Social Security Trust Fund had about $2.89 trillion in there. Through 2019, it took in an income of about a trillion, a little over a trillion, and spent about a trillion, about 3 billion, give or take which way. So right now, at the end of 2019, this is our latest numbers, there's about $2.8 trillion in surplus. Now, we understand we're in huge debt as far as an economy, but there is a system, a trust fund for Social Security. It does have a surplus of just about $2.8 trillion. Next. So with that said, at this present time, Social Security should go as planned. However, they anticipate Social Security to be pretty much not out of money, but not have enough money to pay about 79% of benefits by somewhere in the year 2030. The problem with this slide, it's a few months old. And I believe COVID beat up the system a little bit. It certainly put a lot of people out of work. They're not paying their FICA taxes. And that number, that year has moved closer. I've heard 2026, 2028, but certainly sometime in the future, if the system does not have any changes, there will be insufficient funds to fund Social Security as planned up into a level more than 79% of benefits. Next. So what can happen? What has to take place to restore the system? Well, the first thing is they can increase the earnings Social Security is taxed on. So right now in 2020, if you earn $137,700 or less, you're paying FICA on your full salary. If you earn more than that, you no longer are paying FICA taxes. Medicare, yes, but not Social Security taxes. And that number is changing in 2021 to $142,800. And there may be proposals to make that number even higher. They can raise the normal retirement age. Currently, depending on the year you're born, it's anywhere between age 66 and 67. They can lower benefits for future retirees. That certainly is on the table. But this is a paid for benefit. It's not something that, it's not an entitlement. People that are collecting Social Security paid into the system. And that's where they're going to have a problem with lowering the benefits, I believe at least. They can reduce cost of living benefits, the adjustments that cause Social Security to increase. Next. So the bottom line, I truly believe this, for baby boomers now, Social Security should be intact the way it's designed. Not there goes, not say a 40-year-old is going to collect 26 years or 27 years or whatever it is. Their benefits may be different. I think this system's going to change by then, but I don't think it's going to change if you're a 50-year-old and you're worried, or a 55-year-old, 60-year-old. Next. So what's a clearer way to think about Social Security? Next. Well, Social Security is an inflation-protected income. I mean, you're going to get this income for life, sort of like a pension, and it should go up with cost of living. You paid the premium, you paid throughout your whole working career, so you want to be smart on it, smart about it, and take the proper choices when you choose when to collect. Next. So, for example, the history of Social Security, the average cost of living has been about 3.63%. Since 2001, it's been 2.05. The last 10 years, about 1.65. And last year, it was 1.3. So this chart uses an example of about 2.6% cost of living. So for example, if you're collecting $2,000 today, the compounding on the COLA benefit over a 10-year period will give you a cumulative $270,000. Without compounding, without inflation, it would have been $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, 10 years, $240,000. So you can see even over a 10-year period, it equates to quite a bit of gain. Over a 20-year period, we're talking about $219,000, and a 30-year period, it's over $1 million of benefits over a person's lifetime. So if somebody retired, it's not unlikely for somebody to retire 30 years ago and still be living today at 95 years old. And that's, well, their benefits were lower then, but going forward, it'd be $1 million plus. Next. So how the benefits go, just looking at the compounding this, 10 years, Future time frame, $2,000 a month at 2.6% cost of living. That $2,000 will turn into about $2,500. 20 years, $3,300. 30 years, more than double at $4,000. So the benefits accumulate. This compounding is very powerful. Next. So how much can I expect to receive? Me, I'm not worried about the guy at the water cooler or my brother-in-law. How much can I get when I retire? Next. So Social Security depends on two factors. Number one, how much you earned over your working career. And number two, the age at which you applied for benefits. Next. So here's how Social Security is calculated. At age 62, you can get a real close estimate of what you're going to receive at full retirement age. Because Social Security looks at your highest 35 years, not your last 35 years, sorry, your highest 35 years of earnings, and they average it over an average income monthly amount. And what they're going to get is they're going to divide this by what's referred to as a bend point. And a bend point is a way of determining and paying for or replacing some of your earnings when you're working by Social Security benefits. The lower earning incomes actually get a higher replacement ratio than the higher earnings. And just to give you a real quick example, so if somebody was just working part-time earning $10,000 a year in today's dollars, that means 10 years ago, 7,000 or whatever inflation does, and 20 years ago, 5,000 or whatever the number is, and they only earn $10,000 a year, when they retire, believe it or not, they'll receive about $750 a month in benefits, about $9,000 or 90% replacement ratio. The next approximately $50,000 of earned income, that's replaced at 32%. And the following approximately $50,000 of income is replaced at 15%. So somebody can earn $130,000 a year on average. Now again, indexed for inflation, so it gets lower as we look back in time. And somebody can earn about half that. And a person that earned half that gets about 85% of the higher income earner, even though the higher income earner paid exactly two times the taxes in FICA as the lower income earner. So that's how the bend points work. Very interesting how I calculate those out, and people have a hard time believing that. Now, my spouse only earned half, she earned $60,000, $70,000 a year, and believe it or not, it's about 85% of the higher earners, Social Security benefits. And then what Social Security does, they apply the COLA benefits on top of that as time goes on. Next. So that's good to know, but why shouldn't I just claim benefits at 62 instead of waiting until age 70? That's what most people think. Let me claim early. It may be right for you and it may not be, depends on your personal situation. So let's look at that. Next. So the insight is your monthly benefits are reduced if you claim early. The bottom line is if you start before your full retirement age, and your full retirement age right now, depending on what year you're born, is anywhere between 66 and 67, your benefits are reduced a little. Depending on what year you're born, but around 25% if you collect early. Next. So when should I apply for benefits? Again, I'm confused. Should I take it at 62, whatever? I'm not working, I'm working. So here's the real easy, simple answer. If you had nothing going on, so you're 62, you retired, you got laid off, you got downsized or whatever, you have no IRA, no savings, no investments, no spouse to worry about, and you need income. And you ask me, Rich, should I take Social Security? I'm 62, I have no income. Of course you should. That's the perfect answer. There's nothing better to take it early. You're not working, nothing's going to reduce it, you need income. Where it gets more complicated is when you have a pile of money in IRAs, you have some non-IRA investments, you have some savings, you have the possibility, or you are working part-time or full-time, you have a pension, you have a spouse with all these other things going on. Now it gets very convoluted, very complex on which option is best for you. Next. So it depends on a few things. First of all, your health status. If you had a short life expectancy, health status and life expectancy, if your life expectancy was short and you didn't have anybody to worry about, maybe you should take it early. If it's long because your grandma, I hear people say, well, my grandmother is this and my grandfather's this and whatever. I have a long life expectancy. Great. And maybe you should take it later because your crossover point's further down, but you certainly will get more. And we'll go through some of those numbers in a second. You need income, as I said. I'm not working. I need income. I don't have any other money. Well, then, of course, you should draw it. Whether you're not planning to work, survivor needs, and other investments. Everything plays a part in choosing the correct time when to apply. Next. So the first question comes up is Social Security going to be enough for me to retire on? And the problem is it's probably not. It's just going to be short. The highest Social Security is somewhere around $3,100 and 37,000 living in New Jersey. If that was the only income coming in, it's not easy depending on where you live. You probably have other money going on, hopefully. Next. So there's one age that we all have called full retirement age. And that's the age, depending on what year you were born, when you hit this age, you become your full retirement age kicks in. Then the rules change a little bit. So for example, I'm born in 1956. My full retirement age is 66 and 4 months. And if somebody's born in 1960 or later, it's age 67 and so on. Next. So what if you apply for benefits early? Just for example, I'm closer to age 66 and 67 as far as my full retirement age. If I decide to collect at age 62, my benefits are reduced to 75%, 63, 80%, and so on. So if your person decides to collect before their full retirement age, their primary insurance amount, their full retirement age benefit is reduced a little. It could be reduced 7% or 25 or 30%, depending on when they start taking Social Security benefits. Next. So what if you apply after full retirement age? So you get this primary insurance amount at full retirement age. And again, looking at the column of the left there at age 66, full retirement age, and I say, I'm just going to retire or collect benefits at age 67. I get 108% of what I would have received at age 66, and so on. And if I was age 67, full retirement age, those numbers are a little bit shifted to the right. And keep in mind, in addition to the numbers increasing, you do get cost of living increases. So using simple math, if my full retirement age was 66 and I had a $2,000 a month benefit, and if I wait 2 years, I get about 16% more, plus, depending what cost of living was on top of that. So it may be $400, $500 more if I wait just a couple of years. Next. So what I would recommend to anybody on the phone that has not looked into their Social Security estimate benefits, this is very important, go on socialsecurity.gov and follow the prompts. You'll be surprised what they know about you. They're going to put like 3 or 4 addresses in there, and one's going to be when you're 7 years old, and you're going to have to pick the right one. They know a lot about you. You'd be surprised, and that's how they vet you to make sure that you're you looking at your numbers. And I'd recommend reviewing this on a yearly basis because it's really important, because if there's a mistake, you got to catch it early. Otherwise, you may lose benefits forever. Next. So I think we're all on here for one reason. How can I maximize my benefits? I just want to receive the most. Let's be honest. Everybody wants the most. We paid into this system. This is not a freebie. This is something we earned, and we want to get as much benefits out of this as possible. Next. So the first thing is improve your earnings record. You're 60, you're 58, you're 55. This could be your highest earnings time in your life. Work, earn some money, earn more money than you were. That would be great. It would increase your PIA, your primary insurance amount, and you will receive more benefits for life. Review your record. Is it accurate? Any years missing? Can you prove it by working longer? You don't have to stop working when you collect Social Security if you wait until full retirement age. You can actually earn money and possibly increase your benefits later on, or each year actually, and they'll be permanently increased. They never decrease. So a common question is, well, if I stop working at 62 and I just start drawing my IRA or my investments or savings, and I have some zeros in there, will that hurt my Social Security earnings record? And the answer is no, because they're looking at the highest 35 years. A zero in there, unless you didn't have 35 years, a zero could hurt you. But in most cases, if people are waiting to their 60, they probably have 35 years of earnings in there, even when they were young. And again, everything is indexed for inflation. So 30, 40 years ago, a small number was you paid in a high value to Social Security. Next. Apply for Social Security at the optimal time. So consider your income needs, both now and in the future, your life expectancy. That's huge. Your spouse's life expectancy. So I can have one person out of a couple have some severe health issues, and they're still concerned over the life expectancy of that spouse. And that's very important, because then we want to maximize it by looking at the second death. Other assets and life insurance also plays a very important part, because a person having life insurance in their life, they can take Social Security sooner, enjoy their life, and actually when they pass away, they leave life insurance to replace some of the lower Social Security benefits, that rather than waiting longer. Next. What's the taxation of benefits? How am I taxed on these? Next. So there's something called, before we get into taxation, called the earnings test. And people find this, and they're very confused about this. I see this all the time. They say, well, I want to retire early, and they start collecting early, and they're earning money, and they always say, well, I can only earn $18,240 before they start taking some of my money away. And that's a fact. In 2020, if you earn $18,240 or less, and you're under full retirement age, so you're 62, 63, 64, whatever, they will reduce your benefits $1 for every $2 above $18,240. I see this over and over. People are working and collecting benefits before their full retirement age, and they're keeping their earned income low, which I believe is a mistake. The benefit, it's not a penalty. You don't lose the money permanently. What they do is they readjust your benefit once you hit that full retirement age. So if I was retired now at 64, I can earn $18,240, but if I want to earn $100,000, so I'm $82,000 above that, I'm going to get zero benefit. It's not like they took my Social Security. I'm getting it recalculated, and when I hit 66 in 4 months, then I can have unearned income. I mean, unlimited income. So I can make $1 million a year, and Social Security will not reduce your benefit $1 once you hit your full retirement age. So your income is unlimited before it's not reduced at any income level under current law once you hit full retirement age. That's very important to understand. They're not keeping you money. They recalculate it. Hey, listen, if you're collecting Social Security and you're under full retirement age and you have a chance to earn some money, because you love what you're doing now, you got a challenge, you're earning some great income, earn it. Don't worry about it. They're giving you back your Social Security. Nobody's keeping it. They're not keeping it and running away with your money. Don't worry about it. So never let that annual earnings test discourage you from working. Always work if you can. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, it's great. To avoid the earnings test, if you don't want to worry about it, just wait until full retirement age. And one other thing, so the year you turn full retirement age, the year you can earn $50,520 in 2021. So my birthday's in October. If I was turning 66 in 4 months next year, which I'm not, I can earn $50,240 before it's reduced. Then it's reduced $1 for every $3 above that number. So the year you turn full retirement age, the income earning level is a little different. Well, it's actually a lot different. It's much more favorable for the person working. Next page. So how much is my Social Security subject to taxation? Interesting, this chart, believe it or not, these numbers go back to 1984. And I remember learning this, and if you think about it, let's look at the married, filing jointly, and here's how the taxation of Social Security works. Social Security, to figure out how much of your Social Security is taxable, not taxed rate, how much is taxable, they take a number. they take your married filing joint, it's called provisional income. They're going to take your adjusted gross income, just assume, looking over there, over $44,000. And keep in mind, that number did not change since 1984. And $44,000 back in 1984 was, I don't know, I'd say double and a half, right? About 90,000, maybe even 100,000 today. It didn't impact as many people as it does today. Pretty much many people, if they have some income coming in from anywhere, even part-time or whatever, they're breaching this $44,000 earnings level, because they're adding 1/2 of your Social Security into that, your adjusted gross income, and any tax exempt interest, tax exempt bonds, that interest goes in there. And what it'll be is 85% of your Social Security benefit will be taxable. If your income was between 32,000 and 44,000, your provisional income, then 50% of your Social Security is taxable. And if it's under 32,000, it is not taxable at all. But keep in mind, this is provisional income. It's not that hard to get it. The tax rate is substantially less than 50 and 85%, but that's how much is subject to taxation. And as single people, it's a little different as far as the second chart goes. Next page. So ways to minimize taxation on Social Security benefits. First of all, we want to reduce our income with other tax advantage investments, but not muni bonds. So we want to have withdrawals from HSAs are a great way to take it. Roth IRAs, what a great way to take tax that does not affect tax on Social Security. Life insurance withdrawals, another one. Before you retire, you may be considering IRA RMDs. Take them out before you hit age 72 now. Maybe if you think in 2 years I'm 72 or 5 years I'm 72, doesn't mean you shouldn't take it before age 72. Maybe you should take it now and leave other investments intact, or do, as a third bullet there, convert traditional IRAs to Roth IRAs. That's a great strategy. And how we look at that, and we work closely with the CPA, is we're going to bracket bump or consider bracket bumping. So we'll look at an income of 50,000, let's say, for married filing jointly, and some people have a big number in their IRAs and 401ks, 500,000 is not uncommon or more. Maybe they should take a small amount of that and do a Roth conversion each year, staying in that 12% tax bracket. And that's a great way to use. We don't know which way taxes are going. Certainly we're in more debt than we were a year ago. And if tax rates go up, we don't want to just defer until age 72 and be stuck with paying higher taxes. So Roth conversions are a great example of reducing taxes in the future. Certainly not right today. It's a long-term plan. Delay Social Security reduces the number of years you're going to collect benefits. You're going to collect higher benefits, but in less years, of course, because you're only going to collect it over your lifetime. Reduce expenses, pay down debt, adopt a similar lifestyle. Plan your income strategy, your budget over your lifetime. Look at charts, figure out what you're going to be spending, where you're going to spend it. And I always tell people this: it doesn't matter what age anybody is on this call, your next 10 years are your best 10 years. Bar none, right? Think about that. I'm 64. Between 64 and 74 is going to be way better for me than 74 to 84. I guarantee it. There's no question. And we know that, not anybody, no matter what your age. So we want to also consider life enjoyment, because that's very important with your income planning. Having maybe a little higher income now than later also may be important. So we want to look at both sides of that. We want to continue to manage taxes throughout retirement. That's what a good CPA does. They help you manage your taxes permanently forward. And that's really important. That's why I work closely with with Schmoll and some of their advisors there. Next page. So if you're receiving Social Security and are age 65, you're on Medicare. Medicare Part B, you're going to pay a premium. And currently the low end premium is $145 for this year. I don't know what it's going up to next year. I didn't see it, but it's probably about $150 around there. The lower your income, your Part B is taking a higher percentage of your income. So we need to plan that, because healthcare is a huge cost. I have people come to me and they're 62, 63, and they want to voluntarily retire before age 65. And that's when health insurance is real expensive, as you well know. And I say, what are you going to do for health insurance? And you wouldn't believe some people never even thought of it yet. So I didn't really think about it yet. So it may cost you $800 a month, $1,000 a month, even $2,000 a month, depending on what kind of plan you have and if you have kids and so on. And you want to work that in, as well as the higher earning people will pay a substantially higher benefit for Part B in now or in the future. It goes up to like $490 a month, depending on how much your earned income is. So it will eat into a bigger percent of your Social Security benefit and other income. Next. When to apply for Social Security, some key points to remember. If you apply early, remember your benefits start lower and they stay lower for life because of the compounding of COLA. The COLA magnifies the Social Security benefit, as the longer you live, the more beneficial it is to delay benefits, bar none. There is a break-even point, and the bottom line is, if you take benefits at 62, you will definitely receive more benefits at pick an age before age 70. Let's say we look at 69 and 11 months. You're going to receive way more benefits than if you delay benefits until 70, because you receive zero if you delay benefits. And of course, taking at 62 is way better if you died at 69 and 11 months. So there's a break-even point. But if you wait until age 70, your benefits are somewhere around 32% higher plus cost of living. Your break-even point typically is around 80 or 81 years old. So you want to look at this break-even point of how do you feel, what's going on with your health, life expectancy, your spouse, and if you're going to feel you're going to live a healthy life past age 81, 82, it's probably better to wait to take Social Security benefits until a higher age, if not all the way up until age 70, which is the longest you can defer. Your benefits may be taxed and reduces your Medicare premiums. That's another thing, another benefit that goes against Social Security. Don't let your earnings test discourage you from working. As I said, work if you can. That's a great feeling when you're retired, working part-time or helping, or maybe even starting a new business with your kids. Great idea. Delaying benefits may give your surviving spouse more income. That's the bottom line. If you delay your benefits, when you pass away, your spouse will get the higher of. And if you delay, you get a higher benefit. So he or she will get a higher benefit if you delay. Next page. I'm not going to live long enough, so why not just claim benefits early? And you know what? That may be the right thing to do, but it really depends on yourself, your spouse. If you are single, there's no other answer than take it early if you have a health issue. But if you still got a spouse that's very healthy, you may be considering delaying, maybe the best thing. Next. So for couples, you should always maximize the higher earning benefit to protect their surviving spouse. Next. So spousal benefits. Here's how spousal benefits work. A spouse will get at least, as far as benefits, 1/2 of the worker's primary insurance amount. So for example, if John's primary insurance amount, his full retirement age benefit, was $2,000, and Jane, his spouse, her PIA, she worked part-time, was $800, Jane should just wait until she is full retirement age and collect 1/2 of John's. So her $800 doesn't mean anything. She's collecting 1/2 or $1,000 of John's PIA, 50%. And then next page. So here's the rules for that. The primary worker must have filed for benefits. So the person cannot just collect if their spouse did not collect yet, must file for benefits. The spouse must be at least age 62 for reduced benefits. So I'm 66, just for example, my wife's 62. She can collect 1/2 of mine minus a restriction because she's collecting at age 62. There is no deferred credits for spousal benefits. So for example, if two people were exactly the same age and they both hit age 66 right now, full retirement age, and using the same example of John and Jane, John's benefits $1,000, Jane's is $800. She has no advantage to not take $1,000 right now. If she doesn't take it and says, I don't want to collect until 67, then she gets $1,000 when she's 67. Or if I don't want to collect until I'm 68, she gets $1,000 then. There's no advantage for spousal benefits to wait past full retirement age. There's no delayed credits. We always want to take it and maximize that. Next. So we want to coordinate with spousal benefits. Very important, very impacting. Next. So a maximizing strategy where the lower earning spouse's PIA is more than 50%. So in the example of before John and Jane, John's is $1,000 and Jane is $1,200. The highest benefits are paid if they both wait until age 70. As long as they live past age 81, they're going to break even and they're going to receive much more benefits if they should live to age 85 or 87 or 90 or 95, way more benefits. Somewhere to the tune of maybe $200,000 each, believe it or not, is a huge benefit if they wait, especially because of cost of living. They also can take one spouse can take advantage of the spousal benefit depending on exactly where the numbers fall in. But typically you can have that person, both of those people wait until age 70 unless they earned income. Will take one person will take at least one of their benefits. Maximizing lifetime benefits over the lifetime. That's okay. Over lifetime is for a long life expectancy. That's really what we're looking here. Next. Now, the other strategy was if we have a spouse with a lower PIA, then the lower earning spouse claims early. So he or she can claim even at age 62, and a higher earner can collect age 70. So we want to gain the cost of living and the deferred credits, the guaranteed 8% increase from age 66 to 70, and make that to our maximum, maximizing that higher benefit with the higher number is best if the higher earner waits until age 70 and the lower earner can collect at age 62. It doesn't really matter as long as he or she's not working to reduce their benefits. It reduces the higher maximum benefits over both lifetimes. And this is where they both don't have to live much longer than age 81 to break even. It's a little better in that case. Next. So how do I figure out where's it better for one person to the other? This is an example of what I run for my clients. We customize a Social Security spousal planning analysis. And in this example, we're looking at that top center one, shows 5 different examples. You can't read that, of course, but it shows 5 different examples. For example, one person collecting 62, the other one 66, one's deferring until age 66, one's waiting until age 70, and so on. All these different examples. I can put as many as I want into here, and I'll come out with these charts, this line graph on the bottom, all the way to the right one, along with a bar graph, and it will show which one is better. And if I was looking at this real quickly, I would say that light green one in the center would show the highest benefit, and it's probably the best choice. If I was looking at these, and I could see where exactly the crossover point on that bottom left-hand chart will show where they'll break even and start receiving more by waiting a little bit. And I ask a person, say, how do you feel? Great, feel good now. Okay, how are you going to feel when you're 80 or 79 or 80 or 81? Hopefully good. Like, how's your family, grandmother, grandfather, parents, and so on? And if they're going to hopefully project a good life expectancy, we may suggest waiting there. And again, the other factors come in if they have other money and a pension and working and so on, all play a very important part in choosing the right option. We're just clearly laying them out and having a client decide with some math and science behind it. Next page. What if I'm a widow? This is very important. A widower, divorced. How does that affect Social Security? This is big. Typically, every seminar I do, I'd say one out of every 2, I find, believe it or not, about $50,000 for people. It's getting a little bit more challenging to find people with $50,000. I used to do this a few years ago and nobody understood Social Security. And they're saying, I didn't know that. I have no idea of that. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean. Next page. So if we have a widower or a divorced person, the rules are different than if a person's married. The rules have changed in 2015 to pretty much take away a couple of the loopholes that were in the system that everybody took advantage, but they left them alone for the divorced and married people. Next. So there's a survivor benefit. So if a person's married and their spouse dies, they can collect benefits as a survivor as early as age 60. If they collect it at age 60, they get a reduced benefit. It's not reduced as much as if they waited till if they took it, let's say they took it age 62 as a spouse, as a widow, their benefits are not as reduced as much as if they took their own benefit at 62. Then it's reduced 25%. Here it's only reduced 18% at 60. So their benefits aren't reduced as much, and they also can defer their own benefit all the way until age 70, get a bigger benefit. So if a person was married and their spouse dies and no one has collected benefits yet, they can take a survivor benefit at age 60 and defer theirs until age 70, increasing their own benefit and taking a spousal benefit along the way. And of course, if a person takes any benefit before full retirement age, if they're working, there is that offset. That's very important. So it's a little confusing there. If they're not working, this may be very important. Next page. So if a person claims at age 60, they can get benefits. I misspoke before, 71.5% age, and if they take it all the way at full retirement age, they get 100%. Again, there's no deferred gains of taking it after full retirement age or for spousal benefits or survivor benefits. We want a person to take it at least at full retirement age. That's very important. And another fact is, a person could have, as long as they were married 10 years and divorced and currently not remarried, if their ex-spouse dies, the same benefits apply. They can get full benefits, or taking it as if they wait until full retirement of their ex-spouse, even though they may not have seen this person for decades, as long as they were married, again, 10 years and currently not remarried. Next page. So assuming a husband and wife married, Joe and Julie are married. Julie's benefit, both are over full retirement age. Julie's benefit is $2,000, Joe's is $1,200. Julie dies. Joe receives his $1,200 plus a gain of an additional $800, which is part of Julie's, or a total of $2,000. The surviving spouse in a marriage will get at least equal to the highest for one person. The smaller benefit does go away at death. Next page. So example of a delayed claiming. So if Joe and Julie are married, Julie's PIA is $2,000. Julie files for Social Security at age 70. Her benefit is 128% of $2,000, or $2,560, because of the deferred credits. Julie dies. Joe's survivor benefit is $2,560. If he takes that at full retirement age, it's $2,560. If he takes it before, at age 60, he'll get 71% of that, or about $1,830. And then there's a band in between age 60 and 66 in this example. So we suggest, again, waiting till full retirement age at least, because again, if this person, Joe, was working, the earned income, the offset of his earned income will affect his survivor benefits. So it still affects it, again, as a widow benefit as well, a widower benefit as well. Next. So in a couple of a marriage, they're married now, they must be married at least 9 months to be able to collect a spousal benefit, except if it was an accident. Survivor must be at least age 60 for reduced benefits, or age 50 if they're considered disabled, or full retirement age for the full benefit. That's really what we're targeting there. Survivor benefits not available if widow remarries before age 60. Different rules now. Okay. At age 50, if they're disabled, unless that marriage ends. So a person can get married, they can get divorced again, and then collect on their ex-spouses. Divorced spouse survivor benefits if the marriage lasts at least 10 years. So if you're married and your spouse dies, you don't have to be married 10 years. But if you're married and then divorced and then your spouse died, you had to be married 10 years to be eligible for that benefit. Next page. It certainly gets confusing, huh? There's a lot of rules, boy. So as far as the spouse benefits, a divorce spouse benefit, marriage lasted 10 years. The person received divorce spousal benefit is currently unmarried. So again, the other rule is if they were married and they died, they had to get married after age 60 to be eligible for their spousal benefit. So it's a little confusing. The person receiving divorce spousal benefit is currently unmarried. The ex-spouse is at least age 62. So if I was divorced, my wife's 62, I can collect when I wait to my full retirement age. Me personally, let's say it doesn't matter if I'm working now, I'm full retirement age. Remember, I can have unlimited income. I can collect 1/2 of her benefit, and it doesn't matter as long as I was divorced over 2 years ago. It doesn't matter if she's even collecting. Next. Here's the trick here. This is why we're going broke. More than one ex-spouse can receive benefits on the same worker's record. So a person could have 3 exes, and all 3, as long as they hit full retirement age, can collect 1/2 of mine. And I can have 3 ex-wives, and I get to full retirement age, I get my full benefit, and each ex-wife gets 1/2 of my benefit, and then I die, they all get one full benefit. Figure that one out, huh? That's why we're going bankrupt. Benefits paid to one ex-spouse do not affect those paid to the worker, so nobody's going to affect my income. The current spouse, I got married, my new wife would even get it, and any other ex-wives. Again, this is a huge drain on the system, and maybe they're targeting this, I don't know, but it's huge in the area of, but it's also important also. Divorced spouse stops upon remarriage of a spouse collecting benefits. Okay, so if this is your case, don't get remarried. Okay, next page. Gee, boy, that's complicated, right? As I said, yes. Next page. So I think people are just making these decisions on Social Security based on inadequate information. They may read something, they may watch a video. I think people are more educated than ever. I truly believe that. But I still think they're shooting from the hip and making sometimes a permanent decision, or they think it's permanent. And the fact is, choosing Social Security benefits, and you be online and say, you know, why did I take it at 62? I'm not happy with this. You can do 2 things with Social Security. You can withdraw your application if you started collecting within a year. So if you started collecting 6 months ago, you can withdraw your benefits, pay Social Security back everything you took as if nothing happened, and your benefits do not get reduced because now you're not collecting anything. Or you can suspend an application. So you can start taking it if it's over a year, 2, 3. You can say, now I'm working, boy, or I made a lot of money. I just happened to invest in the stock market on March 24th and you're up 50-something%. Say, wow, or you bought Tesla stock or whatever, and you made a lot of money. Now I can start spending this money. I don't need Social Security. You can actually go to Social Security and suspend them. And every year you suspend it, you get an 8% increase on your benefits. You don't lose anything. You're going to get paid in the back end. So 2 ways of structuring Social Security. So it's not a permanent decision, and most people think it is. Next page. So again, some key insights. Social Security offers inflation-protected income. You cannot outlive, including benefits for survivors. I don't think there's a pension out there any longer. I used to see these defined benefit pension plans back in the 80s when we started, and a lot of them had cost of living benefits. And I think everyone is gone. I don't know if anybody still has those any longer, but boy, that was something, having a guaranteed benefit. The problem is, see, Social Security was designed in 1935, enacted in 1937. I think the life expectancy probably was barely 65, probably less actually. So very few people managed to get there and collect. The problem is today with advanced medicine and healthcare and diet and so on, people are living a lot longer, and the system was just not designed. It's draining the system. That's the problem. People are living so much longer. That's why I really think they're going to design Social Security and Medicare around people working longer. Hopefully, just got to get out of this COVID thing, and all my plans will work. Retirement benefits will be reduced if you claim early, as we spoke about that, if you're working. And it's going to be reduced double then, actually. Couples should always maximize their higher earners benefit. We want to get the most out of Social Security, at least for one of the people, because that's the survivor as well. If you're widowed or divorced, you may be eligible for benefits that can increase your check. So as far as the widow benefits, where I said before, I find money, somebody could be right at full retirement age and they say, you know, I'm still working. I'm not going to collect Social Security until I'm 70. I say, you married? No, I'm divorced a long time ago. How long are you married? 15 years, 20 years. You can collect one half of your ex-spouses as soon as you hit full retirement age. And they collect this $1,200, $1,300 a month for 4 years and 5 years. That's $50,000 with inflation. And they never knew it was coming. I've seen this over and over. Again, if you're full retirement age or closer, and you're divorced, as long as you're married 10 years and not currently remarried, you probably are eligible from collecting benefits on your ex-spouse's benefit. And don't underestimate their benefits because of those bend points. They may have made, let's just call it 50% of what you made. Their benefits may be 85% of what you're going to make. Maybe deferring yours is the idea. So you defer yours. Yours gets increased by 8% a year, and you're collecting free money between age 66 and 70. What a win-win. Next. So I believe when I sit down with people, again, that first example I used, if somebody has nothing going on, yeah, what do I choose? It's usually an easy conversation. You know, you don't have anything going on, you're not working, there's no spouse, no other eyes, you need money. Well, you're going to take it. There's no calculations, there's no science behind that. But certainly, again, looking at it, extrapolating all your Social Security benefits, your IRAs, your 401ks, everything together, your spousal benefits, that's when it gets very, very complicated and convoluted, and we want something designed to make it work to your best interest. And that's when I run those plans for people. Next page. So consider Social Security not just independent, but consider it with your pensions, your IRAs, 401ks, your required minimum distributions, which should say age 72 there, investment portfolio, working, life insurance. They're all very important in choosing the best Social Security option. Next page. So if you went to Social Security and said, I can ask at the office. Well, first, I don't know if I think they're just doing over the phone interviews now because of COVID, but I've had people go. Just understand that they can give you your estimate. They will not extrapolate out future scenarios, different strategies. They will not factor in cost of living ever. So you're not going to see what your benefits will grow to if you use 1 or 2 or 3% inflation. They can't project these future benefits. We can do that for you. We can help you extrapolate out a plan that it may not be a perfect plan. We don't know the future. Only thing, the missing part of this is we don't know when you and your spouse are going to die. If we knew that, we can definitely choose when the best option is, but we're not going to know that. So we want to just do at least the best scenario. Next. So the questions again, and we're going to leave it with this, is when should you apply for Social Security? That's up in the air. Depends on exactly some personal things. What if you keep working? What if you already applied? I went through that. Suspend. Maybe withdraw. How much will my benefits be? Depending on how much you earned, anywhere from, I think the average is about $1,700, and retirees today are $3,100. How can I coordinate with my spousal benefits? That's what we do, run the calculations. What's the best long-term strategy in my situation? Remember that, my situation. Your brother-in-law, your buddy may not be in your situation. And what do I do next? Next. So as I say, Social Security is just too much for guesswork. And when we go through Social Security options, that's when we ask a lot of questions. And I've had, which is nice working with some of the Schmolen advisors, the CPAs. They're really good. They have the information because that's what a CPA does. They ask the information like I do. I ask a whole bunch of questions like, what does it have to do with it? Are you working? Are you happy where you're working? Are you happy where you're living? Are you planning on moving? All these things are very important in choosing the right system. And that's what we really want to do. Just do the right, do what's best. Next. And if anybody is interested, feel free to reach out to Henry or myself or anybody online that your advisor. I will talk to you, a complimentary 1-hour talk. I will run a report for you. I would need a bunch of information. That's why I take maybe 15-minute to a 20-minute phone call, maybe even a half hour, gathering facts, gathering information to come up with the scenarios that should work right for you, should be right. And look at the evaluation form is basically just getting some of the facts ahead of time. Next. And that's it. We are down to the question part.
So Richard, I wanted to jump in because you and I talked about it yesterday, and I forgot to mention it. We were supposed to do 45 minutes. We decided to kind of make it longer because you mentioned to me that you pre-qualified your class, your presentation to qualify for CPE. So any of our any CPAs who are in our audience, if they wanted to get a certificate from you, they can just send us a chat request, and Amanda's going to forward that to you, and you can send the CPE certificate to the attendees. And frankly, in order to qualify for 1 hour, we kind of had to run 50 minutes.
Yeah, that was exactly, yeah, to be a 50-minute outline. Yeah, Jamie
exactly.
has sign-in sheets. Jamie has the sign-in sheets. I'm not sure how she's going to facilitate getting those back to me. Just be legible or type it in or whatever you can, and I will get the credits. I already approved it through my contact for the CPE, AICPA credit. So it's all approved and ready.
Great. Thank you, Richard. We got 4 minutes. I'm going to jump in with the first question because it's you mentioned something that's I kind of heard you talk about before, and it's one of those gray areas in the Social Security space. You mentioned that although you already applied for benefits, you can still go back and suspend your benefits. And I'm wondering, how does this play when you have spouses? You have a spousal benefits, somebody getting your spouse getting your spousal benefits, and you getting your benefits, and now you're deciding, oh, I'm 67, I don't need the money, I'm going to suspend my benefits for 3 years. How does that affect the spousal benefits, Richard? If you know, I know this is pretty complicated.
Henry, that's a good question. So before 2015, there was something called file and suspend. It was a strategy that a person would file and immediately suspend their benefits so their spouse can collect 1/2. Well, they did away with that. So if a married person did suspend their benefits for 1, 2, or 3 years, or whatever, their spousal benefits will stop as well. So their spousal benefits, so why it may not make sense in certain situations is if their spouse is full retirement age, they do not get this deferred credit. So it also is, they're not getting any bigger benefits. So that's why we really would run the numbers in that case. In your example,
understood.
60, 70. Yeah.
So we're gonna probably take 1 or 2 questions only because I want to run it right through an hour and end the webinar. Amanda, would you have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions, so I'll try to pick a couple that seem like they were repeated. So one of them was, if both spouses are entitled to the maximum benefits based on their earnings, then does it matter if you time the benefits with your spouse? I know you went over that a little bit in one of the slides, but maybe you could talk about that a little bit more.
So if both people are entitled to, let's say, $3,100 in a full retirement age, to maximize the benefits for both over a long life expectancy, they would both wait until age 70. If they were, one person, a health challenge, maybe that person will apply early, depending on the person. But that would be that potential benefit of 2 maximum benefits are probably about $1 million plus on each, should they live a decent life expectancy. It's $2 million. Wow. You think?
Amanda, another question.
Yeah, so a lot of the questions about the spouses today. So the one question is, if the lower earning spouse, let's say they're 68, and then the higher earning spouse is 60, can the lower earning spouse collect on a higher earning spouse, given the age?
They're both 60, is that correct?
68. The lower earning spouse is 68, and the higher earning spouse is 60, younger.
That's going to be an issue because the person, the higher earning spouse, to collect on their record has to apply for benefits, at least age 62 years old and probably not working. The apply for benefits for that spouse, the lower earning spouse, to collect 1/2 of their benefit.
Terrific. You know, I'm gonna
example.
cut off the questions at this time, Richard, because we're running out of time.
Okay.
We will forward all the questions that came to us to Richard, and Richard will be able to contact you directly by email or otherwise. Richard, I really wanted to thank you for a great presentation, insightful presentation. You did a great job. I thank you, and thank you, Amanda, for hosting the webinar today. And obviously, we're doing it for you, the audience, participants. We really appreciate having you with us today. Thank you for attending. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.